Hi, my name is Jordan Adamansky, and I will be doing a presentation on red tide for my biology class at Unity College. What is red tide and what causes it? Red tide is a form of algae that grows known as Carina brevis. It is a specific algae known to be the culprit for an HAB or harmful algal bloom. This is because this type of algae is host to a toxin known as brevetoxin. This algae relies on nutrients in the water, especially nitrogen, in order to bloom. It also is very harmful to marine life and slightly harmful to humans. Points to note. Red tide is caused by an algae known as Carina brevis. Carina brevis has a neurotoxin known as brevetoxin. Brevetoxin is harmful to sea life such as manatees, sharks, fish, shellfish, turtles, birds, and more. Sea spray can carry brevetoxin and so can the water. Brevetoxin can be slightly harmful to humans and can get into our bodies by dermal or oral contact or inhalation. Since brevetoxin is a neurotoxin, it affects the neurological system and therefore can affect the respiratory and cardiovascular system as well. How does the toxin get into the bodies of fish? What kind of toxin is brevetoxin? Brevetoxin is a neurotoxin, meaning it affects neurological processes. Because of this being a neurotoxin, it also affects other systems such as the respiratory system and cardiovascular system. How does it get into cells? The toxin works by depolarizing the ions found in cell walls and therefore overcomes the ionic gate of the cell wall, leaving it without any defenses. This leads to an uncontrolled presence of the neurotoxin in the cell. Why does the toxin kill fish and marine life? Respiratory issues. Because this toxin is a neurotoxin, it affects other systems in your body. Brevetoxin causes respiratory failure in marine life as well as fish. And cardiovascular issues. It also causes cardiac issues such as irregular heartbeat or cardiovascular failure to small marine animals and even manatees. What are the symptoms of coming into contact with red tide? Respiratory problems for humans. Cough, trouble breathing, sneezing, itchy throat, and tearing can all occur due to brevetoxin inhalation. Cardiovascular problems. Red tide can cause irregular heartbeats, especially in animals, and irritation to eyes and skin. Coming into dermal contact with red tide or the toxins in the air reaching your eyes can cause itchy and burning eyes as well as itchy skin, and sometimes rashes can also occur. Ingesting fish and shellfish. Food poisoning. Ingesting fish or shellfish that have been affected by red tide can cause food poisoning. The symptoms of this include dehydration, chills, upset stomach, and loss of appetite. Gastrointestinal distress. This can also cause nausea, diarrhea, muscular aches, and indigestion. Neurological distress. To further the unpleasantries of eating fish affected by red tide, you may also experience dizziness, a tingling tongue, lips, throat, and tingling extremities. Overview of the issue and how this affects our community. We've seen dead fish washed up on the shore and want to know what caused this. I believe the sole cause of this occurrence to be due to red tide or Carina brevis, which is a neurotoxin found in a harmful algal bloom. This means less tourism due to lack of people wanting to swim, harm for marine life, lack of being able to fish, less visits to restaurants that include seafood, or even marine equipment shops due to no recreation in the water. What does this mean for us as a community? Lack of tourism. Due to the harmful toxins, this means less recreation, swimming, eating seafood, and less visits to the beach for tourists. Harm to our ecosystem. The toxins also lead to death and illnesses in marine life. This can cause an array of issues with our ecosystem. And harm to our economy. Because of the neurotoxin, fishermen will be unlikely to fish, and due to lack of tourism, our economy will struggle for a time while the algal bloom remains. What can we do to aid removal efforts and prevent future blooms? We can work as a community to provide cleanup efforts such as mechanical beach cleaners and tractors to remove dead fish and clean our beaches using tractors and cranes at a safe distance. Figuring out a plan. We can collaborate to figure out a plan moving forward for other ways to enhance our economy or combat the lack of economical flow, as well as figuring out our cleanup efforts and a timeline as to when things would go back to normal. And we can take preventative measures. We can provide regulations for fertilization runoff and prevent excess excess nutrients from being present in the water to not only kill off the harmful algal bloom, but prevent it in the future. The most important thing is to focus on the outcome and not the obstacle. And there's my references. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a good holiday.